But believe me, if I'm looking at you and all you're doing is reading and we're cutting the time, I'm just gonna cut you. If all you're doing is reading, I'll take the paper, I will read it when I go home and grade based on what it is. But if you're reading it, it's 50%. Okay.
So a good way of communication and an environment are essential. For example, me and my girlfriend, like we have a conversation sorry, when driving. So I have to always focus on the traffic and watch through the window like in front of the car. So she will think is I'm not paying much attention to what she's trying to tell me. And not only that, but also physically the placement of various items, like the environment, is very important in the communications. So also the lights, the item placing, and the music is all affecting people's mood and the attitude and the way. So first I will explain why the environment is closely related to our conversation and our life. The environment is closely related to our lives. In communication, it will affect the attitude and the impression of the negotiate towards us. And the first impression will determine the continuation of the negotiation. The environment will maximize the impact of daily work communication. For example, when we're talking about business in a noisy environment, so we will be very nervous and even emotional when we hear some sensitive sentences. And the environment will largely shape us, like shape our emotional during communication to achieve the emotional we want the other party to achieve. For example, if we are sitting in a lovely restaurant and playing chill music, it's more easier to say building a relationship other than we choosing a very noisy restaurant we're going to develop. After knowing the closely related reasons, I want to say that environment also affects the impression of others. The environment can help us establish our person, our first impression in the communication environment. For example, if we find a high-end place when we are trying to talk a business, the people we are talking to is more easier to connect us. We are the high-end level to the places. And some subtle circumstances can still affect the negative in the negative first impression. For example, you invite someone to your home. Even the home is not that expensive, but you keep the home very clean, they will still think you are a person that lives in your room, or you write like your timeline or the schedule in your whiteboard, and they can see that, so they can tell your life is more scheduled than your home is dirty or messed up. And our response to the environment can also change our communicators' first impression of us. For example, if we choose to communicate in a restaurant, or like your attitude towards to the service stuff will make the person you communicate feel different. If our attitude is more politer, they will think like your person is being like that. Now we have come to the last point of knowledge that the place you choose will be different depending on who you meet. Choosing environment based on the identity of the communication partner can also get twice the result with half the effort. For example, the person you want to talking to, his hobby is playing golf. So if you choosing your communication environment in a golf club, so when you guys playing the golf and you have the communication with him, so he will be more chill and he will think you are understanding more than you just choosing somewhere without any understanding. And you can also start based on the age of communication object. For example, if you want to build some relationship with a kid, you can take him to a candy store rather than the classroom. So the kids will think you are more friendly, like to talk to you, other than you are being very serious. And we need to choose a place of communication based on other person's interpersonal relationship. For example, or for example, I'm a man already married, so I better don't talk to another woman in a private place, for example, in my house or in the car. And no, I'm just
Oh,
well, that's it, for example.
oh, okay.
So overall, this makes conclusions and how the environment affects the qualities of interpersonal dialogies. Whether it's the first impression or later impression, as well as the impact and feelings of chat content, the environment is very important. If you choose a restaurant with a good atmosphere and service, you will definitely eat more. Writing homework must be more focused in a library at school or in a cafe. Talking about work must be chosen in a serious environment to make people feel their professional qualities. And talking to your friend is better choose somewhere chill and you guys sitting face to face and have the eye contact to let your friend think you are trying to get the message he sent you.